there's a risk that, the measures taken to control a pandemic stick around behind the scenes after the pandemic is gone in ways that ultimately may do even more harm than the good they did originally. So if you're looking at, all right, you've got a Fitbit, you've got a digital thermometer, you've got a pulse oximeter, and you're putting that information into an app which some well-meaning big tech company is feeding into their database. Then they're analyzing it together with national government, maybe sharing with other national governments to track the flow of the pandemic, right? And that's valuable. Something of that nature is certainly necessary. Now, after the pandemic is gone, will big tech and big government stop collecting data on everybody's physiology and using it, to track the next dangerous thing, like say nasty Muslim terrorists or whatever it may be, right? Of course they're not going to stop, right? Of course, there's always going to be some other really important thing that's viewed as a terrible threat. And generally, we don't see these panopticon type technologies getting rolled back too much after they're put into place. And there are decentralized alternative ways to do exactly the same and better things in terms of tracking the pandemic, which would set a positive platform for development after the pandemic is gone, as opposed to setting the stage for Big Brother to invade everybody's body. Yeah, let's talk about a couple specific AI functions that will be very helpful with the pandemic. One is agent-based simulation modeling, where instead of the crude epidemiology simulations that are now being done to model the spread of the pandemic and are being done to guide social policy decisions that are impacting everyone's daily life and costing the world economy maybe trillions of dollars a month. These rules like social distancing or restaurants only deliver 15-day quarantine to travel to Hawaii or something. On what basis are these rules being adopted? People's intuition and very, very crude, differential equations models of epidemic spreading. Now, we could make a much more fine-grained agent-based simulation, sort of like a SimCity type model, where you have little simulated AI agents playing the roles of the people moving around in the simulation of the US and the world. And using this sort of agent-based AI simulation, you could make much better predictions of how COVID-19 is going to spread, and also much better extrapolations of what the outcome of some policy choice is likely to be. So that's one example. Now, another example is AI-based anomaly detection on physiological data. So if you have thermometer, activity tracker, heart rate variability from your Fitbit, pulse oximeter, all these things connected into your smartphone, you can use AI-based anomaly detection to tell a couple days before you show any symptoms that you seem to be getting sick. And we're working on an app that does this within Rejuve, which is the SingularityNet spinoff. But there's been folks at Stanford University and other places that have worked on similar things. So you're able to tell things about the person's physiology and their state that they themselves don't know from their own feeling, right? Of course, this can be super valuable. If you're getting a little bit sick, if you're in somewhere that's doing COVID testing, you can go get tested. Otherwise, you could just, you be a little careful. You don't go visit your grandma that day, right? So these two things, they're extremely valuable in minimizing loss of life in a pandemic situation. On the other hand, imagine what happens when they're put together and used for other purposes after the pandemic is gone. We have a detailed simulation of the movement of people from one point to another and mass movements of human beings. And we're tying this into measurements of people's stress levels, people's movement and activity patterns, right? So then, if you want to, say, squelch a public demonstration, let alone tamp down a revolution, or track where the members of some organization are going, you're going to have a tremendously better set of tools for doing this type of monitoring. It's not that governments couldn't do this now necessarily. Fitbit is bought by Google. Eric Schmidt, who is Google's chairman and CEO, is very good friends with the NSA, right? I mean, all this potential was there. But what we're talking about is practically rolling out integrated systems that tie in, real-time physiological measurement of a huge number of people with in-depth agent-based simulations. And,
You're reminding
I'm
me of
agitating right now. I'm agitating right now for all these things to be rolled out to help with the pandemic. But because they're not being done well enough now, and they should be. But if they're rolled out in the wrong way, they're going to be used after the pandemic to make a police state that, hitherto has certainly never been seen in the Western world, and even beyond what China has managed to do so far.
You remind me of one of my favorite movies, Gattaca, with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, that scratches the surface, right?
Yeah. So like, think about the discrimination. Think about like, you guys familiar with like the Indian caste system they have, like different levels?
Yeah, of course.
So think about all the discrimination. We're like, oh, well, Ben, you got these health conditions over here. We can't give you insurance. You can't work for us, It's like, oh, Tufi, you have all these things. Like, there's so many ways I see they can discriminate with people from
Well, yeah, we saw that your heart rate, boosted too much when you were around this type of person. So that means your physiological responses were unacceptable. I'm sorry, you have a poor credit rating. You can't rent a car.
Exactly. And so this is a real danger. I know a lot of people don't see it, but a lot of people aren't really tracking what's happening behind the scenes. They're not quite, let's say, savvy with what's happening within the AI space. I think we can all agree over here. Most people are kind of fed up with like all these big Silicon Valley companies. We're not deeming them good or bad, but more or less.
The COVID is reversing that. Now people love Amazon. Amazon is their lifeline. That's the only way they can get anything in their house. And all they're doing all day is Zoom, Google Hangouts, and so forth. So I think the techlash is arguably being reversed by whatever that symptom is called, where people fall in love with their captors. Right?
I know this. I'll come.
Stockhausen or something.
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. That's right.
It. Yeah.
We're getting Stockholm syndrome, where we're falling in love with our Governor Cuomo, and we're falling in love with Amazon and Google, because while we're locked in our room, they're the only ones delivering us a few crumbs, and that's going to cause people to care less when these tech conglomerates are feeding data to intelligence agencies. But in the end, people are going to see why this wasn't so after all.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher, and guys, please like and subscribe and spread this all over social media. It is imperative that we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works, because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that everything is already planned out. Now, guys, of course, I want to thank those who purchased the books, Crypto Teacher and WO book. Also, those who have donated to the Cash App, Patreon, much love. Also, those who are shopping at the store, guys, you're blowing the store up. Much love with that. Now, of course, guys, we're going to get into Bitcoin and cryptos first. But, guys, I'm going to be doing a Bitcoin movie. I'm going to premiere the first one today. So, basically, it's going to be in parts, part one, part two. So, guys, do not miss that. I'm starting from the beginning and then where it's going to the end. So do not miss the crypto movie, guys. Do not miss it. I'm going to premiere it in a few minutes. And then, of course, basically, you'll be able to see that tonight. Now, getting over into Bitcoin. Guys, Bitcoin's volume has went up a little bit. So, guys, make sure we're staying focused on the, of course, the volume, stable coins. And remember, I told you, XRP, for some reason, that volume is crazy. So make sure you're doing your research. I'm still doing research on it because that volume has not settled down. The volume is still spiking. So they're doing something with XRP that they're not telling us. So guys, like I said, make sure you're doing your research. And basically, of course, when we do research, we spread the love. We show everybody. But definitely something is going on with Ripple's volume. Looks like I said, it hasn't settled down. Now, of course, with the Fed, of course, we get a check. We don't know how much it is, guys. Just like every Tuesday right now, they've been writing checks. We don't know exactly, just like I said, we don't know exactly how much it is. We do see a little bit of money coming into USDT. remember I told you, make sure you're going to Twitter, looking at the world alert so you can see all the money that's incoming and sitting on actual exchanges. Now, guys, also basically getting over into, a little crypto news. Now, we had Brad Garlinghouse come out and say, did a little post on Twitter that basically the dollar is not going up anywhere, gold is not going to replace it. China, the yuan is not going to replace it. And guys, hasn't this what I've been telling you all along? Now, basically, when I say it, you kill me in the comments, you send me all types of emails. But when Brad says it, it's fine. And basically, he's just, the puppet, the CEO for, the central bank. So, but guys, that's why I said open up to consciousness. Basically, the dollar is not going anywhere. Right now, it looks like the dollar is about to die. But guys, guess what? When they turn on that crypto, a whole lot of people are going to have dollars. So guys, don't forget, right now, gold is at its all-time high. Now, what you think that's going to happen when cryptos get turned on? You got that right. Basically, that's going to devalue gold again. Guys, the same story. Nothing's new under the sun. But basically, you definitely have to look forward. You definitely have to be conscious in the world that we're in. Now, basically, of course, we have Arthur Haynes. What did he do? Hey, when is he called it cripple? He didn't call it ripple. He called it cripple. When is it going to hit that $3? Pump, pump, pump. And normally when he says that, what happens? It normally goes down. But guys, what we're going to do? We're going to stay focused on the volume, the stable coins, the fundamentals. Now, basically, we have, of course, Google getting into the fintech banks, guys. We see all these big corporations trying to attach itself to a bank. We had Apple come out with their little credit card backed by Goldman Sachs. Guys, it's all intertwined. That's what I say, it's all planned. Wait till you see the movie, guys. I'm starting from the beginning to the end. Now, also we had Traveler. As far as the crypto payments have soared, as far as with hotels, travel. The big news, of course, we have Chainlink pumping. My Patreon people, come on now, look at that list. You winning right now, guys. You're winning. So the fact is that basically with Chainlink, basically you have Unibright to use baseline protocol and Ethereum mainnet. So we see Ethereum moving up before the 2.0. Like I stated, guys, they pump it before, of course, what? They turn it on. That's the same thing. Same thing with stocks. They pump it and then they tell you the news. It's not like before when you can solely get in if you did research. It's not the same. So also, basically, we have Samsung with Infinite raises $3.1 million as far as with the gaming. Guys, like I tell you over and over and over again, gaming is going to be so big. So virtual reality is going to be so big. We see sports have started. Guys, I'm going to be doing more videos. I know you get distracted. But guys, there's no fans there. Come on, guys, wake up. Black Lives Matter sitting on the court. All distractions, guys. Come on, guys. You got to know George Soros. You got to know these things, so therefore you open up the consciousness. This was in my book a long time ago, way before this happened, guys. Because the fact is that even though I have a crypto channel, but I always focus on the New World Order. I focus on everything. My book, the NWO book, is the first of its kind because it focuses on everything. Because that's how the New World Order works. Sports over here, technology over there, media over here. Basically, they have it all, their agents centered around, and that's what I'm going to show you in this Bitcoin movie, how the agents are centered around in order to control it. Well, guys, just like I said, you have to come into consciousness. Now, lastly, of course, we have the banks are not loaning out money. Guys, what you're going to start seeing is in our educational system, everything. Just like I said, we're going to go through a paradigm shift in America. It's only going to be 250 million people in America. I can't say that enough about population. I told you I'm going to do a video on that. I am. But the fact is that, guys, you're going to start seeing in America a lot more education as far as what the economy, how money works. Why? Because they don't want you spending the way you were spending before. The value, we're going to go through hyperdeflation. Remember I said hyperdeflation. Everybody, we're not going through hyperdeflation. Now you solely see people saying we're going through hyperdeflation. The dollar is going to be devalued. I was saying that at the beginning. I have that in my book. Guys, come on. Now, of course, we've been through hyperinflation for what? 50, 60, 70 years. We're going to go through hyper deflation, devaluing the currency. And of course, when they put out these cryptos, they can just airdrop money to you. Just imagine all the dollars that are out there. Imagine the unbanked, and they can just get free money. Imagine that. That's why they always keep talking about universal basic income, guys. They can just airdrop you money at no cost. No cost, guys. No cost. That's why I told you XRP is nothing but a synthetic stable coin that can be attached to real value. That's it. Now, just like I stated, gold is at its all-time highs. But like I stated, what happens when crypto comes? They can airdrop all these cryptos, and guess what? That's going to devalue, of course, gold. It is. Of course, we're still going to have cryptos that are going to be attached to gold. Of course, if you have your physical gold, your physical silver, that's to protect your wealth, not to spend. Now, of course, if you have a bunch of it, I've been collecting forever. I had some passed down to me. So, of course, yes, when it hits this price, I do go and sell a little bit. But the fact is, guys, make sure that we are focused. I can't say this enough. Focus on the fundamentals. Like I said, I'm having the movie come out today. Part 1. It's going to be in separate parts. Part 1 is coming out today. But guys, that's all I have for you. Don't forget about the books, Cryptoteacher NWO book. Also, cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Also, your stocks, Cobalt. Your chip stocks. Everything's going to have a chip in it. Also, your gaming. Gaming is going to be big. Your banking, of course, never ever bet against the Knights of Templar. The banks, guys, they always win at the end. Everybody's sitting at home. Don't forget about those stocks. Don't forget about your biotech stocks, the C word. They're selling that, trying to sell people the vaccine. So, guys, make sure that you're watching these pumps and dumps. And then also, people are getting free money. So what are they doing? Sitting at home, drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and y'all have a wonderful day.